All right, let's get back to the show already in progress.
Okay. That's all staying in, by the way, probably.
That's fine. What are you going to do? The only way I could combat that is to edit it myself.
And that's not happening.
I'm too tired for that.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk off with them. String it on.
That train is off the tracks.
Who doesn't love the bounty castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is February 26, 2023, and this is episode 636. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gafrida, the man behind the dials. This week, we're going to talk about a 1-1 week for the Pacers with games against Boston and Orlando. Joining me this show are two of our three analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles, John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Sorry to miss last week, but listening, I thought it was an instant classic. You guys killed it. I do want to shout out, I don't think I've done this, shout out Angela and Amanda, the two wonderful women that invited me to Asheville and that are now sort of figuring out how to keep me here permanently. So as much as I have said that I'm sleeping on couches while I'm out here, I think this is starting to be my home. So shout out to Angela and Amanda. They don't listen to this, so they don't really need a shout out, but anyway.
A spiritual shout out?
Yeah, for posterity. So shout out, ladies.
From Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Shout out the well-coached Brooklyn Nets. He extended Jacques Vaughn through the 26-27 season.
Yay!
So things were going so well. I mean, you got to get guys locked in. So congrats to Jacques Vaughn.
Hey, look, if you can get Jacques Vaughn, you got to lock him in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 10 years, 150 mil, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
I think most of his problems just walked out the door, so I think he's in good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, the solution did not walk in afterwards.
That's true.
Mikal Bridges, like when I put up 40 points.
Yeah. How much did they win by?
I think 40, right? He was the difference.
Before we get into the show, would like to remind listeners that they can support us, the longest running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. We've been, we got Colson off the couch, so we're happy that we're that far. But we got some ways to go. Where we got to do we probably got to do a telethon, right? We can do still.
Well, if fans want more T-shirts, we have to do a telethon. I think that's what I said.
Okay. I'm gonna call up Nancy Leonard and see if we can borrow her services.
You know she can run it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We want to run a good one. All right, we are back from the All-Star break, and Pacers played two games this week. First one was against the Boston Celtics at home, Thursday, February 23rd, and Pacers lose this one 142-138 in overtime. Pacers down much of the game, but fought back and tied it up at the end of regulation, but could not hold it down, losing by 4 in the extra period. Stand-up performers Miles Turner, he was excited to show it off what he could do coming off his break. 40 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists and a block. Solid game for him. Tyrese Halliburton, 22 points, 14 assists. Fantastic. And Mathurin, as he's been doing, is crushing it from the bench. 19 points, 7 rebounds. And I guess, of course, we've got on the Boston side your Jason Tatums and your Jaylen Browns both putting up 30 and 31 points. And Malcolm Brogdon, old friend of ours, coming off the bench with 24 points.
Does that feel like a revenge game? He also had like 7 and 5.
Yeah. Well, he played, so that's not something that he always did for us. So.
Shots fired.
You started this. The second game of the week, Saturday, February. Also, I loved Malcolm Brogdon. He was just unhealthy a lot of the time. So that's the bummer that we had with him. Saturday, February 25th, Pacers took on Orlando, and they win 121-108. And I think this was one that I was worried that we were going to win this game, and we did. This is, Orlando's a hard team to lose to.
Very difficult to lose.
We weren't able to get there, and we weren't able to get there. Miles Turner, 24 and 8. Tyrese Halliburton, 15 and 14. But then we had Benedict Mathurin, 19 points off the bench. And Jordan Nwora, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal.
What's up, new guy?
He's the new guy, getting some, sort of high performing game out of the new guy. The guy, the freebie we got thrown in on some, trade deadline action. So anyway, 1 week. I'd called for the the reverse sweep or whatever we want to call it, but Orlando. Orlando's gonna Orlando, and it's hard to fight that. I don't know. Harper, what do you think is a takeaway from this week? The one thing I guess you probably want to talk about was Goga Bitadze was picked up by the Magic and posted what I think Colson described a loud 6-6 game.
Yeah, it was the 3 shots heard around the world. Clearly, the headliner of this week was going up against Goga. Yeah, no, you're right, Joe. The Magic excel at what they do, which is losing. But it was a fun week of basketball. It's good to get a win, and that Boston game was just fantastic, especially the third quarter of that thing. Man, so many amazing plays, very back and forth. I had a lot of time to prepare for the best team in the league, and it really did a great job. In the final analysis, they ended up posting 142 on us. But we did some good things defensively against them. We certainly made them work. This looks, to all appearances, like maybe a budding rivalry. Tyrese Halliburton and Marcus Smart getting into it. There were some teas. It was a fun game. I like that one.
Yeah, no, Carlisle afterwards was talking a little bit about the free throw discrepancy, but there wasn't really much of one. Just Tatum went to the line a bunch, but that's what he does for a living. So I thought this game was great, and it ultimately it came down to a couple missed shots for the Pacers down the stretch at the end of regulation, and then rebounding in overtime.
It was rebounding.
Yeah, so we play great defense. Boston, the game's tied, I believe. Boston misses a shot. They get the offensive rebound. They miss the shot, and then Tatum, who shot the original 3 that missed, which was well defended, comes in and gets the second offensive rebound and puts it in to essentially end this game. You said Miles Turner had an amazing game. He had 40 points, But he needed 11 rebounds instead of 10. If he does that, this game is maybe different. So, we did a ton of great stuff, but you got to rebound the basketball, especially down the stretch. So.
Yeah, that was just a killer. I mean, they did everything they could to hand that game to us at the end of regulation. I mean, just sloppy turnover stuff that you don't see these guys doing very often. Just throwing the ball out of bounds, just
giving us shot after shot. And
I'm telling you, man, they really left the door wide open for us. Unfortunately, we couldn't get quite a good enough look at the end of regulation to get one down. But I'll take the free basketball. This kind of experience is invaluable for this young team. It's a really solid effort coming out of the break.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, we're talking about playing against the best team in the East. It was in our house, but it was, it felt like playoff atmosphere. Like these guys competed, and we played against the best team in the East, shot for shot for, an extra 5. So, you got to feel good about it. And also, if you're trying to tank, it's good to get the loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good to see these guys not back down, right? I mean,
right.
This is not a team that lacks in confidence, and when faced with, a juggernaut of an opponent, like maybe the guy's favored to win the title right now,
right?
Given some time to prepare and fresh legs, they gave them all they could handle. It's a really solid effort, and obviously they were excited to get that taste out of their mouth and took care of business against the Magic.
For sure. Yeah, no, that Boston game was one of my, I've had some favorite games over the season, and most of them have been wins, of course, because it's always nice to leave with a win. But this has got to be in the top 10 of games of the season for us.
Absolutely.
And I really enjoyed watching it, and this Magic game sort of made me feel the same way I felt about the Boston game on some level, which is we're a competent 500 basketball team, and we're going to go out and play hard, and we're going to win about half our games. and we beat a team that's younger than us. The people. The reason we won this game, I thought from watching it was mainly Halliburton and Miles Turner. The adults in the room made this thing. We're the difference here. Now, I know Wara had a really nice game. This was my first real look at him, and he strikes me as an athlete more than a basketball player. Like, he's got this nice, fun, floppy hair, sort of almost a scola, kind of when he runs. He's just in the wind. But he can fly, and he got a bunch of offensive rebounds and lobs. I don't know how much it translates to smart basketball decisions, but he also had some assists in this game. I think he's a great flyer to take on this. He struck me as more as an athlete than someone who's going to change the chemistry of this team, if that makes sense.
I mean, I was really impressed with him. I mean, he had 6 assists in that game, and some of those were some pretty nice assists. I mean, it was just a really well-rounded effort, I thought, from him. And if he's going to play with that kind of confidence against, other teams around the league, I mean, that's certainly good news for us.
Sure.
Should shout out Miles Turner in the Boston game as well. Set a new personal best for threes. He went 8 of 10 from beyond the arc. When you're going to want to go take down the green machine out there, you're going to need some big games from people, and Miles Turner had one that had them on their heels for sure.
Well, what was he's the first center in NBA history to have 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 threes?
Yeah, I think that was right.
Sure.
That's not bad. That's a thing. I guess a lot of centers don't shoot that many threes.
I mean, it's not really a thing. I mean, it's a thing, but yeah, that's just...
But he's only like the 8th player in NBA history to do it. He just happened to be the only center to do it. So, that's pretty cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a weird stat.
We're picking stats here.
Yeah. I saw Clay today has had 3 games where he's shot 12 or more threes.
Or hit them?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm
That's
assuming...
a shot. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
he hit 12 or more threes. And apparently in his last one, he didn't even make it 2-pointers, just like all threes all day.
Joe, did you have a different sense of Wara? Because I feel like maybe I'm underselling him.
No, I mean, I think that you may be under.
I mean, he had a nice game. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think you may be underestimating his like read on the game. You know, that sort of basketball knowledge, right? Like, maybe not on the sort of the movement side of it, but yeah, I mean, to pick up 6 assists is, by anybody is, you got to have a good understanding of the game, and where, even that those are difficult things to do when you're not familiar with the players as much. Where the teams, when you've been with a player for a whole year or more, where they're gonna be, you know where they want the ball, where they're gonna be, and those the assists are hard to come by. They don't. You're gonna get some freebies, but for the most part, you gotta understand what you're doing to get those.
Well,
So,
and the kid could
totally wrong.
Yeah, the kid could jump out of the
saying.
gym. I'm happy to be a little more forgiving on this. I think my frustration has been that the coaching staff has just completely decided to bury Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson. They just don't see minutes anymore. We're just done with them. Daniel Tice is our backup center. Wara's our backup 4. Like there's just no room for Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith, who I was convinced was the future of our front court. So what do I know? Very little about basketball, apparently.
Well, I will say, a couple weeks ago you were lamenting that the ball wasn't really moving on offense the way that it had been earlier in the season. But I think that you can say that, we've largely fixed that.
Yes.
Coming out of the All-Star break.
I agree.
The ball was certainly popping. Guys are moving without the ball. We got stuck in a few isolation plays with Halliburton where he liked his matchup. We were playing a little bit of matchup ball, but as long as he's winning his matchups, all is well.
Yeah, no, you're right. I thought near the end before the All-Star break, I was starting to get frustrated by the lack of movement. But these 2 games we're just so effective in fast break basketball. It's so fun. Like, we just get the ball and just chuck it down the court. Guys are running, and that's how we're scoring all these points. So, whatever edge we'd lost, it looks like it's back. So, I expect us to get some wins here moving forward.
Yeah, I
don't seem so upset.
Well, just a whole, just this. It's, I think during the week, the games, there's the excitement, the extra stuff around the All-Star break, and now, now I'm just sort of at the realization that like you had said, we're a competent 500 win team, but we're also motivated to not win, and. I just feel like there's like that reality of that truth is sort of was setting on me this week, that like, it's we've got the rest of the like for the rest of the season. I don't think we're gonna see like, we're gonna see some fun basketball, but we're gonna lose a ton of games between now and the end of the season.
I looked at the rest of the season. There's some winnable stretches in this thing. I think we're probably going to win at this point somewhere between, if we really are trying hard to lose, 34 games. That's what we'll win. If we win some unexpected games, we could win 37, 38. There's room in the schedule. There's a lot of winnable stretches here. I don't know if that's good for anything. I don't think that puts us in the playoff push, and it doesn't.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and it just pushes us out of
the whole.
But I want us to get better. I want us to play
Yeah.
tough games like Boston and like get some experience. That's what you want from a young team. That was a great game because we got a little bit of a sense of the moment and still lost, right? Like, I don't know. Beating up on Orlando, is that good for our playoff position? Sure. Is it good for our lottery position? No. Is it good for getting us better at basketball? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe we should just stop playing Orlando. I think we get to play them again very soon.
Orlando?
Yeah.
Not very soon. I don't think we play them again until. Are we done with them? I think we're
Oh, okay. I thought we had one more.
No. I mean, in a couple weeks, we've got a Houston at Detroit set. So
That's
we'll
maybe
rack up
what
some
I was
wins
thinking.
there.
That's what I was thinking of. Maybe there's just a lot of games that are going to be hard to lose.
Yeah, I mean, there certainly are. But I mean, the good news for us is that the West is in the midst of a really, really heated playoff run. I mean, teams down to, really 13 teams are in the hunt right now, right? It's only San Antonio and Houston that are out. So there's not a lot of people who are gonna, who are not motivated to win a bunch of games out there. So,
Right.
I mean, in that sense, that that does play into our hands. I mean, development has to come first here. There's only so much you can do, to control the lottery balls. So.
I agree.
It was a good week of basketball. Focus on things that improve. Go and showcase it in games and just keep putting building blocks on top of each other.
I really appreciate that, Harper. I think that's right. I mean, I felt like at the end of last season we were kind of like, whatever. Hey, it's cool. Like this feels different, and I'm hoping it stays different. Like development is more important than the lottery because you have no idea what it's going to be, what it's going to look like. So. Halliburton's real good. Just throwing up 14 assists a game. In the last two.
Yeah, no, for sure, super fun and a lot of confidence from coach in that Boston game. Had plenty of timeouts in our back pocket to use down the stretch, and just kept not doing that and just letting the guys go out there and create and play ball. So cool to see from coach. Looking ahead to next week, we've got at Dallas, take on the Kyrie Irving-led Dallas Mavericks.
That was the Luka leg.
I don't know. I think Kyrie's the center of the universe, my friend.
Yeah. And we'll follow that up
At the center. Sorry.
I'm sorry. He's the flat line of the universe.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Then on March the 2nd, we will proceed to San Antonio, where we will win a game whether we want to or not.
Right.
That team is currently, I think, on a 14-game skid? No, 16 as of today.
Okay.
My bad. And Sunday afternoon, back to the United Center to complete a sweep of the Bulls.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, Dallas is going to put up 146 on us, and we're probably not going to win that game. But we're beating San Antonio and Chicago. It's just happening.
2-1.
I'm going 2-1.
Yeah, I lied. We did lose that. I forgot. We lost that game in October to Chicago. So
We're still going to
2-1 against them.
We're still going to beat them.
Yeah. We just, for whatever reason, we don't lose to Chicago.
Yeah.
We don't like those guys.
No. Goes back to the Jordan and Reggie strangling each other on the.
I'm sure all of these guys were alive and remember that.
I thought you were going to say it was goes back to like the expansion of the United States back in those days.
I see. Sure.
I thought this was like some old Indiana Illinois rivalry.
Well, that's definitely a thing. We feel like the little stepbrother of Chicago, and we will always go in swinging. Because that's what stepbrothers do. I don't know.
That
was a bad metaphor.
That was a movie too that I
They
think I saw.
They fought a lot in that movie. I think.
Yeah,
Definitely did.
All right, maybe it wasn't as bad a metaphor as I thought.
It was a better metaphor than you meant it to be.
Yes, that is exactly true, sir.
Probably a better metaphor than a movie.
But I guess that's a long way of saying that I think the Pacers are going to go winless this week. I think they've got it in them.
What?
You know,
you're telling me we're going to lose against San Antonio?
It's going to be so hard to lose against San Antonio.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Rick
you're
Carlisle's
right.
a better coach than Rick Popovich? He can get out uncoached.
Yeah.
Get out uncoached?
Yeah.
That's tough to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're like one of the best coaching minds in the world, like, and you're instead of trying to win, you're trying to lose. Like, that's got to be like a whole 4D chess thing.
Yeah. I think we can do it. You know, I think that I think Carlisle's one of the coaches that doesn't matter. Did I say that right?
Sure.
I meant that in a good way. I mean, he's good at tanking when he wants to. It's a compliment.
Sure,
I promise.
he's putting it on his resume. For sure.
Was able to secure #1 pick by tanking a good team. No, I think I'll call for that. You know, again, yeah. You know what, Harb, right? I do appreciate what you said earlier, and I think that hopefully, I want to just see this team go out and play, and I want to see them win games and whatever. At this point, we've got our core. You know, Miles Turner is 100% a Pacer for, you know, the next, 350 days or whatever. And, you know, I think we've got a good core of guys, except we said Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson. Those guys are.
How could they
gone,
not
right?
see a minute of time? Like a minute of time. They're not worth a minute of time? Come on, Carlisle. What's going on?
So we've got that going
No,
on.
I was just boo. Can I boo this? Boo.
Boo this man.
It's hard to say Wara wasn't earning his minutes.
No, I agree with that, and I understand that the small lineup has been winning us games because we shoot a lot of threes, but we're also losing games because of rebounding, and Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson are our best two rebounders on the team, so maybe they should see some minutes. I mean, look, I'm not Carlisle, who, you know, is so good at winning that he can tank on purpose. Like, I get it. I understand that he's a basketball genius, but man, maybe I would have thrown in an Isaiah Jackson on that last play. See what happens. I don't know. Against Boston,
Well,
when we lost.
You
for
mentioned
2
some
offensive rebounds.
coaching decisions. And I did want to, before we go, I just did want to talk about Atlanta. What is it, the 5 little points? Mm-hmm. Is that our segment, 5 little points?
It is.
Weekend update?
Little 5 points is the neighborhood in
Yeah.
Atlanta. Super cool area. And we have 5 little points sometimes.
Sometimes. Here's the first one, and I'll throw it to Colson for the last 4. First one is Nate McMillan, as we had discussed previously, was let go, but they have hired someone in his place, and it is former Jazz coach Quinn Snyder, and they got him on a 5-year deal.
Whoa.
So,
that is... All right. 4 little points. That's a huge contract for Quinn Snyder.
yeah.
Look, he was very successful with the Jazz to get to the second round over and over again and then lose. But, you know, being relevant matters. So it just seems like an overpay for Quinn Snyder. Point little 2. Trae Young. Is he good? I don't know. Like, I mean, is he a superstar? He can hit long threes. He can bitch a lot and get his coach fired. I think he's soft, and I don't like him. I don't know why he's your franchise player. Point little 3, no trades. What, John Collins still on your team? You picked up I guess they did pick up Sadiq Bey. Is that getting you to the playoffs? Probably not. Point Little 4. Atlanta. Been to your city. It's tough to get around, but Uber fixes everything. Nice neighborhoods there, particularly Little 5 Points. Point Little 5, Atlanta sucks. The team, not the city. And I assume that Quinn Snyder will get you no farther than a first round out. Actually, probably a play-in out. And I expect the Pacers to be dominating you over the next half century.
Harper, counterpoint.
Well, I would argue that the previous coach did plenty to get himself fired. Didn't really need Trae Young's help with that. Quinn did a pretty good job, and he's got a lot of talent here, so it'll be interesting. Do we know how much he got paid? 5 years is a long time, but you can just fire guys. You know what I mean?
That's true. You just fire guys all the time. You don't care.
You can just let them go for
right. They have this is the weirdest thing about coaching in the NBA. Like we don't just like go year to year because everybody knows that you're playing year to year, and they can just fire you whenever. So
yeah, but they gotta pay you.
True.
So, if it was me, if someone said, "Hey, I'm going to pay you year to year," and then Atlanta came by and said, "I'll pay you for 5," and we may fire you this summer. Fine, I get 5 years of salary, and I'll go work for somebody else. Or I wouldn't, but I'd be.
You would. You just put your feet up on the beach.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If I was even, that inspired to get to the beach, we'll see. We'll see where it takes me when I got 5 years of coach money. And look, this is a challenge to the NBA. Hire me, 5 years. Let's do it.
Point Little 6, Coke is responsible for diabetes, right?
I don't think that they help, but that's why they invented Diet Coke and Coke Zero.
That's right. Not related
and diabetes
to diabetes.
Solved. So as far as I can tell.
Snyder actually has coached in Atlanta before. He was an assistant to Coach Bud before he left for the Jazz in 2014. And he did take that team to 6 consecutive playoff berths?
Yeah, and then they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They
went to the conference semis twice.
Did they not get to the Eastern Conference Finals one year?
Was that when they'd have all 5 guys as Player of the Week?
Yeah. That was the year that they got all 5 guys in the All-Star game. It was like Horford and that's all I remember. Horford was on that team.
They had a good, balanced team.
Mm-hmm.
Did pretty well.
Yeah, consistent.
He will definitely have his hands full trying to get everybody on the same page in Atlanta. No two ways about that.
Do you guys just like Trae Young more than I do? Is that what's going on?
I mean, it's not easy to find a guy who can, a 27-10 guy. He's having an off year, and he's 27-10.
You know what? I am willing to volunteer and not play defense in the NBA. Can I get higher?
I mean, if you've got a reliable 30-footer, yeah.
If you can put up 27 and 10, I think there will be discussions. And if I'm the coach, yeah, I'll get you on that team. But
you did you even go against Quinn Snyder? I mean, did you try to put your name in the hat?
I blame your agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
what's going on?
It's Colson. That's the problem.
Yeah. Come on, Colson.
I got locked out of my email this week. It was the whole thing. Forgot my password. Sorry.
Oh man. No, I mean I guess look. There's Colson. I've named a bunch of guys in the league that have good numbers. that, I don't want on my team, and he's one of those guys. Russell Westbrook, averaged a triple-double. I don't want the guy on my team, like.
He's not. He's on the Clippers with your other favorite players in the league, which is nice.
Like they're collecting those.
They are collecting our least favorite players.
Which is like a public service. I appreciate that.
Just take them all so we can like all the other teams more.
Exactly. I don't have to hate 5 teams. I can just hate the one team.
Exactly.
And they're in LA. I mean, they're making this really easy.
This is good. I like it.
Well, it's actually kind of cool because then if you get them all together, maybe, we always talk about the 1 knucklehead rule, but like, do you have a, 12 knucklehead rule?
Maybe it's just like an odd even thing. Maybe you can have 1, 3, 5, or 7. You just can't have 2, 4, 6, or 8.
That's an excellent point. I'm going to have to go do some math, but I feel like you might be right.
When I'm coaching in this league, we will find out the answer to this, and I'll pay for the Basketball Reference premium membership to find. I'll use that to unlock some wins.
Do they have a premium membership that we're not involved in?
100, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You can. They have like searches you can only do.
What are we doing with our Patreon money? Come on.
Right now, we're deeply engaged in a new manager search for Joey. Because,
I feel like Joey is just like embezzling our money instead of giving us like. We need the deep dive on Basketball Reference, my friend.
Yeah. Is that a Fabergé egg behind you on the shelf there? I hadn't noticed that before.
I'll probably put the blur on my camera. Here we go.
It's weird that his cat wears a crown and his baby wears silk pajamas. I don't know. Hey. Whatever.
Got a flash.
And,
I thought it was just his style.
Well, and my son is he is just a whiz on Basketball Reference.
That's for some reason.
No idea why. Yeah, it's I think it's the kind of thing where you can pay and then you can find those insane stats that what was there was one year that they put some stat on the screen that made Thaddeus Young look like Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
because you could find some weird edge cases where Thaddeus Young is in the conversation for GOAT if you frame things correctly.
Yeah, ESPN made fun of that so hard.
Yeah. They're not wrong.
But Thad Young was Atlas, so I'll fight ESPN.
He was. You go fight though. Great. My agent is going to be fighting a television network. Perfect. And I assume you're going to be physically like.
Hey, ESPN.
Come at me.
Come at me. I ain't afraid.
I think on that note, we should probably.
I'm going to give ESPN my address and tell them to meet me on the front on the corner.
We'll get going here then, so you can write them a strongly worded tweet or email or probably.
I was going to say, I don't have to do any of those things. I don't know how to do it, so I'll probably make a phone call.
Yeah, but if they call you, you won't pick up the phone.
That's true. No numbers I don't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good trade to have in a manager. So I hear.
Yeah, perfect.
This is why Joey is definitely been placed in the NBA at this point.
Yeah, that's why he's not the Atlanta Hawks' new coach right here.
All right, back to the drawing board. I got 5 years or 3 months, who knows, before that job's open again.
I like the idea that you just really want to go to Atlanta. We're just gonna...
Yeah, they had some good restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
The good cultural scene there.
We had that the nice Coke Plaza or whatever. It was the Olympic area. There was the aquarium we couldn't afford to go to.
Well,
it was like $45 a pop.
Well, yeah, but if we would have spent half a day there, probably would have been worth it. But we were trying to like shoehorn it in for like an hour or something.
Yeah.
So, what are you gonna do?
Spend $45 on alcohol in an hour instead.
Right.
Which is probably what we did.
Yeah. Well, until next show, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. Our website is TheUndebeatables.com. There's a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. And an old-fashioned email. Shout out at TheUndebeatables.com.
Also, we love phone calls. Just call us up.
Phone calls.
Yeah, just call us up.
Should I list your phone number here? You can insert it in post. And at the website /store is where you can buy your small t-shirts.
For the architect Donnie Walsh and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sickleonard. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Kept waiting for that to take a bad turn on me, and it didn't happen.
I know. It was like, it was like real pleasant. Like the whole way through.
I'm sorry.
No, a lot of times you start like that, and then it turns into, genre bending finish. Often.
Just like a little lullaby.
Mm-hmm. I'd play that to the little one to help him fall asleep.
Oh, everybody who's been listening to this has been long asleep before they get to the end.
So that's probably true. That's probably true. I'm on the edge.
Maybe we should insert the some of the more aggressive outros at intervals during the show to wake people
good
up,
idea,
and then make them pay
yeah.
to make it go away, so they can sleep.
Okay, so unless you're a Patreon, you get like, turn out the lights, the party's over, and like,
It's like
every 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or every 5 minutes. Whoa! Whoa!
They'd have no way for that not to happen except to give us money or just turn it off forever.
Oh.
And they wouldn't do that, of course.
How could you? How could you not live with all of this deep Pacer knowledge?
and screaming in your ear.